Have you ever felt a creeping sense of exhaustion? A quiet drain on your peace? Or a subtle pull on your resources that you just couldn't put your finger on? It's a feeling many of us experience, especially as we navigate the golden years. We've spent a lifetime learning, giving, and building. And by the time we reach our 60s, our wisdom is abundant, and our generosity often boundless. Yet, there's a painful reality that can emerge if we're not careful. Our kindness, our willingness to help, can sometimes be quietly exploited, leading to unnecessary stress, financial strain, and even a profound sense of disillusionment. It's not about becoming hardened or uncaring, but about understanding where to draw the line to protect the invaluable peace and hard-won freedom you've earned. You see, at this stage of life, your time, your energy, and your emotional reserves are more precious than ever. They're not limitless, and how you choose to invest them directly impacts your happiness and well-being. Failing to recognize certain patterns in people can lead you down a path where your life feels less like a joyful journey and more like a never-ending series of demands. It's a secret many wish they had known earlier, but it's never too late to learn and adapt. In this discussion, we're going to explore 7 specific types of individuals whose constant need or demanding nature, if unchecked, can quietly erode your peace and resources. Learning to identify these patterns isn't about being unkind. It's about practicing healthy self-preservation. It's about ensuring your later years are filled with joy, not depletion. Watch to the end for something that will truly surprise you, a powerful insight into reclaiming your power and maintaining your serenity. Now, let's gently ease into the first type of individual you might encounter. Someone who, and despite your best intentions, can become a silent drain on your spirit, the constant complainer, or the perpetual victim. These are the people whose conversations are an endless loop of negativity, misfortune, and grievances. Every topic, no matter how bright, somehow finds its way back to their problems, their injustices, or the unfairness of their life. When you offer advice, they have a reason why it won't work. When you offer solutions, they point out insurmountable obstacles. When you try to uplift them, they pull you down into their gloom. You might initially feel a deep sense of empathy, a desire to lift them out of their slump. You might spend hours listening, offering comfort, or even trying to fix their situations. But what you'll soon realize is that their need isn't for a solution, but for an audience. They thrive on the attention their misery brings, and your compassionate ear becomes a never-ending emotional dumping ground. Helping them feels like pouring water into a bottomless bucket. No matter how much you give, it's never enough. The quiet ruin here is the slow erosion of your own positive outlook. Their constant negativity can subtly shift your perspective, making you more cynical, more anxious, and less joyful. Your energy, which should be invested in activities that bring you peace and happiness, gets siphoned off into their vortex of despair. The actionable step here isn't to abandon them entirely, but to set clear boundaries. You can say, "I hear you're going through a tough time, and I care about you, but I find myself getting overwhelmed when our conversations are always about problems. Let's talk about something positive. Or perhaps we can discuss what concrete steps you're taking to address this if they resist." It's okay to gently distance yourself or limit the duration of your interactions. Remember, your emotional well-being is not a sacrifice you owe anyone. Moving on from those who drain your emotional reserves, let's consider a type of person who can quietly, but significantly, impact your financial peace, the financial leech, or the perpetual borrower. This individual always seems to be in a bind, always needs a little something to tide them over, or has an urgent expense that only you can help with. It might start small, a loan for a bill, help with a repair, and you, with your generous heart, want to assist. Perhaps they are family or old friends, and you feel a sense of obligation or genuine concern. But over time, the requests become more frequent, the amounts larger, and the repayment, if it ever happens, becomes sporadic or non-existent. They might offer elaborate excuses, promise to pay you back next week or when things turn around. But next week never arrives. The quiet ruin here is obvious: your hard-earned savings, your carefully planned retirement funds, or your discretionary income slowly vanish, not into investments or personal pleasures, but into someone else's unending financial pit. Beyond the financial loss, there's the emotional toll, the anxiety of wondering if you'll ever see your money again, the awkwardness of having to ask for it back, and the creeping resentment that poisons the relationship. You might find yourself avoiding their calls, dreading their visits, all because you anticipate the inevitable request. The way to protect yourself here is to establish a firm policy: never lend money you can't afford to lose. And preferably, never lend money at all, if you truly wish to help. Consider it a gift, with no expectation of repayment, and make it clear it's a one-time gesture. A kind but firm refusal is often the most loving thing you can do for both yourself and them. You can say, "I'm not in a position to lend money right now," or "My financial planning doesn't allow for loans." It feels difficult at first, but it saves you immense heartache and preserves your financial security in the long run. And speaking of relationships that can leave you feeling drained and unappreciated, we come to the third category, the unappreciative receiver. This person is similar to the constant complainer in their self-focus, but their impact on you is often felt through a profound lack of gratitude for your efforts. You might go out of your way for them, driving them to appointments, helping with chores, listening to their problems, or even offering them gifts or favors. You give your time, your energy, and your resources, hoping to make a positive difference in their life, or simply because you care. But the response you receive is lukewarm at best, or worse, met with an expectation of more. They might subtly hint at what you should do next, or criticize how you've helped, or simply take your kindness for granted, never acknowledging the effort or sacrifice you've made. There's no heartfelt thank you, no reciprocal gesture, just a quiet assumption that you're always available and always willing to give. The quiet ruin here is the slow erosion of your spirit. Your efforts feel unvalued, your generosity unreciprocated, and your kindness unappreciated. This can lead to a deep sense of resentment, making you question your own giving nature, and even making you hesitant to help others who genuinely deserve your support. It teaches you that some people are simply takers, and they view your kindness not as a gift, but as a right. The actionable step is to recognize that true help is a two-way street, at least in terms of respect and gratitude. If you consistently find yourself giving without receiving even a simple thank you, it's a sign to reevaluate the relationship. You don't need lavish praise, but a basic acknowledgement of your effort is essential for a healthy interaction. You can begin to pull back your efforts, prioritizing your own needs and the people who genuinely value your presence and support. It's about recognizing your worth and the value of your giving, and directing it towards those who appreciate it, rather than allowing it to be taken for granted. This shift isn't about being cold, but about cherishing your own capacity for kindness and ensuring it's invested wisely. Now that we've discussed protecting your emotional and financial well-being from these three types, let's explore others who can subtly impact your peace and freedom in different ways. As we continue our exploration of those whose presence can subtly erode your well-being, let's turn our attention to the fourth type of individual, the energy vampire, or the demanding dependent. This person is characterized by a seemingly insatiable need for your attention, your time, and your assistance. They might be a friend, a family member, or even an acquaintance who, perhaps due to genuine challenges or simply a deeply ingrained pattern, relies heavily on you for their emotional support, practical needs, or even just for constant company. You might find yourself spending hours on the phone with them, listening to endless stories, running errands that are not truly yours, or constantly being called upon for favors. Unlike the financial leech who wants money, the energy vampire wants your very essence, your focus, your empathy, and your personal time. They might not be intentionally malicious. They may simply lack the resources or the initiative to manage their own lives, or they may be genuinely lonely, but the effect on you is profound. The quiet ruin here is the complete depletion of your personal time and energy. Your hobbies, your appointments, your moments of quiet reflection, your opportunities for genuine connection with others, they all get pushed aside to accommodate the constant demands of this person. You end up feeling emotionally exhausted, mentally drained, and sometimes even physically fatigued. Your life becomes less about your choices and more about reacting to their needs. You might start to resent their calls or visits, even as you answer them out of a sense of duty or guilt. The key to navigating this relationship is establishing firm, consistent boundaries. It's okay to limit call times, to decline invitations that don't serve your best interests, or to suggest they seek professional help for ongoing issues. You can kindly say, "I love talking with you, but I only have 15 minutes right now." Or, "I'm not able to help with that particular request, but I hope you find a solution." Remember, you cannot pour from an empty cup, and your well-being must come first, especially after 60, when your energy levels are naturally different. Moving on, let's consider the fifth type of person that can quietly weave their way into your life and create profound discomfort: the manipulative guilt tripper. This individual is a master of emotional leverage, using your kind heart and sense of obligation against you. They don't demand overtly. Instead, they might make you feel guilty for saying no or for not meeting their unspoken expectations. They might use phrases like, "After all I've done for you," or "I thought you cared about me," or even resort to subtle sighs, sad expressions, or hints of disappointment when you prioritize your own needs. They prey on your desire to be a good person, a helpful friend, or a loving family member. You might find yourself agreeing to things you don't want to do, spending money you shouldn't, or sacrificing your peace simply to avoid the sting of their emotional manipulation. The quiet ruin here is the insidious erosion of your autonomy and self-worth. You start to feel controlled, obligated, and resentful. Your decisions are no longer purely your own, but are heavily influenced by the fear of causing disappointment or receiving a guilt trip. This can lead to chronic stress, anxiety, and a feeling that you're constantly walking on eggshells. To protect yourself, it's crucial to recognize their tactics and refuse to play their game. Understand that their guilt trips are about their desire to control you, not about your actual failings. Practice saying no firmly and kindly. Without over-explaining or apologizing, you can simply state, "I'm not able to do that," or "That doesn't work for me." Don't engage in their attempts to make you feel bad. Remember, you are responsible for your own happiness, not for managing their emotional reactions to your boundaries. Your peace of mind is too valuable to be held hostage by someone else's manipulative tactics. Next, we arrive at the sixth type of individual, one whose relationship with you is fundamentally unbalanced: the one-sided friend or acquaintance. This person only seems to surface when they need something from you. Be it a favor, a listening ear for their problems, a ride, or simply someone to complain to. When your turn comes to need support, to share good news, or to simply enjoy reciprocal companionship, they are conspicuously absent. They might be too busy, unavailable, or simply uninterested in anything that doesn't revolve around their own world. You might initiate contact, suggest activities, or offer help, but their outreach is almost always transactional, a request or a demand disguised as a friendly chat. The quiet ruin here is a deep sense of loneliness and emotional exhaustion that comes from perpetually giving without receiving. You might feel used, invisible, or like a convenience rather than a cherished friend. Your emotional investment in the relationship goes unreciprocated, leaving you feeling depleted and perhaps even questioning your own judgment in friendships. At this stage of life, true connection is vital, and you deserve relationships that are genuinely balanced and mutually supportive. The actionable step is to consciously shift your focus away from cultivating these one-sided dynamics. Stop initiating contact or offering help unless it truly brings you joy. Observe who genuinely reaches out to you, who celebrates your successes, and who offers support in your times of need. Invest your precious time and energy into those reciprocal relationships. It's not about cutting people off harshly, but about redirecting your valuable resources. When they inevitably reach out with a request, you can politely decline if it doesn't align with your priorities, or simply say, "I'm not available for that right now." You are not obligated to be someone's perpetual convenience. Your friendships should uplift you, not drain you. Finally, we come to the seventh type of person, whose constant presence can quietly undermine your reputation and peace, the gossip monger or drama creator. This individual thrives on talking about others behind their backs, sharing rumors, exaggerating stories, or creating unnecessary conflict. They might pull you into their web of negativity by recounting every detail of someone else's perceived faults, or by inviting you to comment on the latest dramatic development in their social circle. They often present themselves as simply sharing information or concerns, but their true intent is to stir the pot, generate intrigue, and position themselves at the center of attention. When you engage with them, even passively, you become complicit in their negative cycle. The quiet ruin here is the slow erosion of your own integrity and the potential damage to your own reputation. When you listen to or participate in gossip, you subtly signal that you are open to it. And soon, you might find yourself dragged into disputes that aren't yours, or even become the subject of their next tale. This can create an environment of distrust, making you wary of others and making others wary of you. Your peace of mind is disturbed by the constant influx of negativity and the fear of being implicated. To protect yourself, it is crucial to distance yourself from gossip. When someone starts to engage in it, you can politely change the subject, or simply state, "I prefer not to discuss other people's affairs," or "I don't find it helpful to talk about that." You don't need to preach or judge. Just remove yourself from the conversation. Cultivate relationships with people who uplift you, who speak positively, and who engage in meaningful discussions, not petty gossip. Your energy is better spent building bridges, not tearing them down. Remember, your golden years are a time for peace, joy, and meaningful connection. It's about cherishing your time and energy and directing them towards what truly matters. So, we've walked through 7 distinct types of individuals whose unchecked presence can quietly, but profoundly, impact your peace, your finances, and your overall well-being in these precious later years. We talked about the constant complainer, whose negativity can drain your spirit, and the financial leech, who can subtly deplete your savings. We discussed the unappreciative receiver, who can leave you feeling unvalued, and the energy vampire, whose demands can consume your precious time. We then delved into the manipulative tactics of the guilt tripper, who seeks to control your choices, and the one-sided nature of the unreciprocating friend, who offers no balance in connection. Finally, we explored the gossip monger, whose negative chatter can poison your peace and reputation. Remember, it's not about becoming selfish or uncaring, quite the opposite. It's about practicing a profound form of self-love and self-preservation. It's about understanding that your well-being is not a bottomless well to be drawn from indiscriminately. You have earned the right to peace, to joy, and to security in your later years. Small, intentional shifts in how you interact with these patterns of behavior can make an enormous difference. Setting boundaries, gracefully declining requests that drain you, and redirecting your precious energy towards genuinely supportive relationships are acts of wisdom. These changes aren't about rejecting people, but about cultivating a life that is truly yours, free from unnecessary burdens and emotional clutter. You are the architect of your golden years, and you have the power to design them to be rich in peace, happiness, and authentic connection. It's about choosing to invest your invaluable resources, your time, your energy, and your compassion into relationships that nourish you, uplift you, and truly add value to your life. I truly hope this conversation has given you some valuable insights and a renewed sense of empowerment. I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences. Have you encountered these types of people? How have you learned to protect your peace? Share your wisdom in the comments below. Your experiences can truly help others in our community. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel for more content designed to help you live your best life at every age. Thank you for joining me today. Keep cherishing your well-being and continue to live your best life at every age.